Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The Warzone 2 overall TTK has shifted a bit ever since launch. We've seen a lot of the faster killing guns in the game nerfed a bit to make their TTKs more in line with the majority of the weapons, but there's still a handful of guns in the game that have very fast TTKs, whether they are for some close range action, some mid-range action, maybe even some long range action as well. And today we're breaking down 5 weapons that have ridiculously fast time to kills, starting first here with old reliable, the M4A1. This one is particularly good in the mid-range. It's a very consistent rifle overall, aggressive enough to be used in close range, consistent enough to be used in mid to long range, and in that mid-range particularly, it's very spicy. All the stats, all the data here today is coming from true game data after season 2 reloaded, and currently the M4, just as a stock weapon, has an 815 millisecond TTK at 44 meters, which is like prime for resurgence gameplay and really good for aggressive Al-Mazrah gameplay as well. This setup here, pretty straightforward, very easy to use. First up, I'm going for the AMOT V4 optic. If there's one that you like more, whether it's a 3.4 times or a red dot or a blue dot, always use the optic you are the most comfortable with, but always tune for the furthest eye position and faster ADS. I go for the 45 round mag. If you want to jump up to 60, that's a great choice as well. It's just a difference of a little bit of speed and movement there, so that's really the only change you'll notice if you throw on one or the other. High velocity ammo for the better consistency in the mid to long range, tuning for that better damage range and better velocity as well. I'm using Edge 47 here just as a consistent underbarrel, although this is one you could interchange if you wanted to. I'll get to that in just a moment, but if you want that stabilization, if you want that super easy recoil, tuning for the better stability and stabilization on this one. Then I also go for the Echoless 80 suppressor. This is going to be great for that added velocity, slightly added range as well, and we're tuning for the better velocity and ADS speed. That said, if you wanted to really capitalize on that mid-range TTK and extend that a little bit, and you're also very comfortable with the M4, you could drop the Edge 47 and throw on something like the high tower barrel, which is going to extend that damage range even more, and in theory make that TTK even better at that slightly further distance. So I definitely implore you to mess around with that. Both of these setups though would be a really good choice. You can't go wrong with either one. Next up, we got a super underutilized weapon, the Lachmann 7.62 battle rifle, and the key here for this to have a really fast TTK is to turn this into full auto mode. Now when you do that, obviously the fire rate's going to increase a ton. It's going to be way easier to use, but the recoil pattern also becomes a lot more drastic. It has a lot more recoil in full auto, so it's not as straightforward as an M4, maybe some of the other guns on this list. But if you're landing your shots, it's pretty crazy. It's got a 809 millisecond TTK out to 81 meters, which is very impressive by all means when you compare all weapons at that kind of range. That's one of the faster TTK options in the game. It just has that higher skill gap because of how the weapon performs in that full auto mode, which is why we're pretty much just attacking the control throughout. Now, I go for the Chrono Mini Pro optic in this specific case, but again, if you wanted to use a Schlager 3.4 times any other one, feel free to do so. Furthest eye position and faster ADS on there yet again. I go for the 30 round extended mag. I think 50 is a little overkill, like a little too slow on the movement speed for my liking, but if you're okay with that slowdown, it's also a good choice. I mean, you can never have enough ammo, I suppose, but 30 to me is totally sufficient. High velocity ammo yet again for that consistency over range for the better bullet velocity and damage range on the tunes as well. Lock grip precision is going to offer you a ton of recoil control, which is super clutch here. I am tuning for the slightly faster ADS speed and hip walking speed for some mobility aggression here, but overall this is a great attachment to help out with that full auto recoil pattern. And then lastly, I go for the Sack and Tread 40, which again is just focused on recoil control. We're tuning to enhance that even more there. So this will help out some and make the weapon a lot easier to use. It still is going to get some getting used to, but it is a little bit higher risk and very high reward if you're able to land your shots. Now, a weapon that's much lower risk, but also still a very high reward, the RAAP LMG. This thing is just an absolute spray and pray machine, if you will. It has a crazy fast fire rate, but also brings the damage of an LMG to the table, making the TTK very spicy. We're looking at a 755 millisecond up to about 56 meters. So you'll notice that the recoil with this over range becomes a little bit more tricky, but in the mid range there for an LMG, this is very good in comparison, and it's going to literally fry because it's just like spraying for days. The fire rate here is ridiculously fast. This setup is kind of meant to combat some of the recoil, but also make it so that you're not reloading super often, right? So initially here, AMOT V4, pretty standard furthest eye position, faster ADS. The TCG 10 rear grip is all based around control, and we're going to tune to enhance that even more just to make our lives a little bit easier with that. you gotta run the 100 round mag on here. The 50 round mag default is just nowhere near enough for how fast you're firing. Now, yes, it's an LMG, so the reload sucks. It's gonna be slow no matter what, but you'd rather have a slow reload less often than more often, so 100 is kind of mandatory in this case. Edge 47 to underbarrel yet again for the better control and stabilization over range, tuning to enhance that, and same deal with the sack and tread 40, just focusing on control here once more as well. So it'll be easy to use by comparison to the stock weapon, but still will again take some getting used to. But after you learn how to land your shots consistently with this thing, it is going to be a very fun and very unique LMG to use. Now, as we continue throughout the setups here today, quick reminder, if you're new to the channel, every day I'm your one-stop shop for all things going on in COD, so feel free to subscribe to stay up to date at all times. And if you guys enjoy the video or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. And want to give a quick shout out to my friends over at G Fuel if you guys are ever looking to pick up anything at all from the G Fuel site. Specifically this month, if you're looking to maybe try G Fuel for the first time, code WhosImmortal at checkout gets you a 30% discount on all the starter packs. So you can get a new shaker and try out a couple of flavors to see if you like them, and then upgrade to a full-on tub later on. Again, code WhosImmortal will get you a discount on that as well. So link for that will be down in the description below. Now, next up on the list here is actually the brand new Tempus Torrent. This thing has a very good TTK, again, especially in the mid-range. We're looking at a 664 millisecond TTK at 57 meters. Now, keeping in mind this is a semi-auto weapon, that TTK could fluctuate a lot depending on how fast you're able to actually shoot this gun and how accurate you are with it. But when you land your shots with it, it is one of the fastest killing weapons there is right now, because it just brings so much power to the table, especially if you're landing the head shots, the upper torso shots, the neck shots. This thing can be lethal in the right hands. This setup is really based around extending that range even more to make it even more efficient over longer ranges. So initially here I got the Schlager 3.4 times. I really like this for that visibility over range for semi-auto in specific. I just think it's so clean, so easy to track and trace players. So I love this choice here for this die position faster ADS. 30 round extended mag is totally sufficient for this. If you wanted to go up to 50, again, beware of those movement slowdowns, but more ammo the merrier, I guess you could say. Edge 47 on here, better stabilization, same deal as before. Polar Fire S suppressor to extend that range a little bit, also give you some better velocity, tuning to enhance the velocity and slightly faster ADS. Then also I go for the Outreach barrel. This is going to extend that damage range even more and make that TTK even faster over ranges before those damage drop-offs hit. So very consistent setup here and extending that range and making it easier to use over that. Better damage range and steadiness on the tunes there. A little bit more difficult to use, as with a handful of these, you know, they are higher risk, higher reward, and that's why they have these faster TTKs, because they're not just all guns anyone can pick up and fry with right away. That said, one weapon that is very easy to use right now is the BAS-P, and thanks to the buffs that it got with Season 2 Reloaded, it's actually surprisingly good, especially as a sniper support SMG. So up close, it's going to be very competitive with the other SMGs. It's going to bunch in with those, but over the mid-range, this actually has an 897 millisecond TTK at 37 meters, which is decently better than pretty much all the other sniper support-esque SMGs at that range, while also maintaining super low recoil and great mobility. So its versatility is actually up there with the best of the best in the SMG category. This setup is all about basically being annoying to enemies, but also being super aggressive. So I'm not a huge fan of the iron sights initially here. If you are, swap this for a stock with better mobility, or maybe a barrel to extend the range, some a compensator to make it even easier to use. You can absolutely mess around with some other attachments and see what works best for you. But to me, this is going to help out, especially in the mid-range too, which is player visibility. For this die position faster ADS as always. 7 milliwatt laser, better ADS and sprint to fire per usual on our SMG setups, tuning to enhance that even more. The Bruin Flash rear grip, once more better ADS and sprint to fire, and we got the similar tunes on that as well. 50 round extended mag, all the ammo you could ever need for, you know, squad engagements, for one-on-ones, you're absolutely fine. You can get the easy cleanups and everything there. And then I also go for overpressured ammo, which is going to make flinch more noticeable when you are landing your shots on enemies. They also increase the flinch in general for a handful of weapon categories with Season 2 Reloaded. So the second you start landing shots with this gun, it's going to make the enemies aim a lot more shaky and a lot less consistent, and they're probably going to miss shots on you because of it, and make this gunfight even easier for you. So it's a very unique attachment that can have some serious upsides in the right situations. So this setup a little bit different than maybe some of the standard SMG ones, but one that works really, really well right now. And that being said, those are 5 of the fastest TTK guns here in Warzone 2 as of right now. That's going to wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button to always stay up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.